Okay, today we are going to be learning how to make a 3 to 5% red blood cell suspension. The first thing you want to do is make sure your patient specimen is properly labeled. So the first thing you're going to do is check for a name, a date of birth, and a med rec number. Blood bank specimens must have 2 sets of handwritten initials, the handwritten date and handwritten time, along with the BBID number that is unique to the patient. So this patient is valid for specimen testing. The next thing we're going to do is to grab a glass 12 by 75 test tube, and we're going to label it with the patient's last name and first initial. And mark it 3 to 5% RBC suspension. In blood bank, it is very important to have all your tubes labeled. It is an AABB requirement. As you can see here, I have the patient's last name, first initial, 3 to 5% RBC suspension. Next, we're going to take our blood bank saline. This is 0.08% normal saline. It is the standard we use in blood bank. And we're going to fill our specimen tube 3/4 of the way full. Be careful not to touch your tip of the pipette onto the glass tube. That's contamination. So you can see it's about 3/4 of the way full. We're then going to thoroughly and gently mix our patient's specimen. And to start, I usually add 5 drops of patient red cells to the tube with saline. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're being careful to not touch the pipette tip onto the tip of the glass tube. We're going to then gently pipette up and down our specimen. And we're going to spin for 1 minute and 30 seconds in our centrifuge. Okay, so as you can see, we've now washed our red cells, and you can see your red cell button at the bottom and then saline all throughout the first half of the tube. So now we're going to take a clean pipette and we're going to take off as much of the saline as possible without going into the red cells. After you've taken off all of your saline, you're going to gently shake your tube so you have one uniform mixture. And then you're going to again take your saline and fill your tube 3/4 of the way. You're going to take a clean pipette and you're going to gently mix. And that is your completed 3 to 5% red cell suspension. To make sure it is exactly 3 to 5%, you can compare it to your check cells in color. So if you look here, my color of my check cells, it matches my color of my suspension, and that's how we can confirm it is a 3 to 5% red cell suspension.